Hi, and welcome to today's video on what is governance. The objectives of this video is to let you know what is governance, project governance roles, project governance components, and why project governance is essential to the success of a project. So let's begin. So I'm sure before you started this video, you looked up the definition of what is governance, and I'm sure you found in general terms. Governance is the way rules, norms, and actions are structured, sustained, regulated, and held accountable. Governance is the term for the way that a group of people do things, and many groups create a governance to decide how things are to be done. Well, within an organization, governance is like the hierarchy chart that you see in the management levels and the policies that are enforced throughout all levels of the organization. But project governance can be a little different, and it's important for project managers to understand. Every organization needs to create its own governance structure. They must design the process, allocate time and resources, find the best people, and enforce basic procedures that will assure the quality of the work. Project governance is a critical component of your project control. It protects the organization, the project, and its people alike. It provides accountability, strategic focus, and sound decision-making. Without good project governance, you and your project could be at grave risk. So I'll be honest, many years ago, before I got my PMP certification, I wasn't exactly sure what project governance was either. However, when I was teaching a class, I realized that I wasn't alone. Apparently other project managers and students alike were not familiar with the term. So here's what you need to know about project governance. Project governance helps you make sure that a project is executed according to the standards of the organization performing the project. The basics are that project governance keeps all the project activities ethical and it creates accountability. A project governance structure also helps define a reporting system for the project. Project governance outlines specific rules and responsibilities for everyone involved in the project. Project managers can thus leverage a governance structure in their projects to help with setting project priorities. By understanding how governance fits into the larger organization, a project manager can choose which objectives to pursue. He or she can gain support to change objectives that do not align with the overall organizational goal. And by monitoring governance, the project manager can help ensure that the project will stay in tune with organizational expectations and remain a good investment as it continues in its life cycle. A project manager can also use the steering committees that are part of most governance structures to resolve conflicts. How? Well, because steering committee members do not work on the project on a daily basis, so they can serve as an unbiased, fresh set of eyes to see what is causing the conflict and offer an outside voice of reason. They can also offer solutions on how to resolve the conflict and adhere to the standards, all the while sticking to the overall goals of the organization. Project governance roles. All projects and programs have different features and mandates. They consist of many roles, but 4 major roles establish, maintain, and enforce project governance, and each of these roles have different perspective on the project. The 4 crucial roles are the sponsor, the steering committee, the project management office, and the project manager. The purpose of the project governance roles are to set direction of the mission, strategy, and value, make decisions on evidence, authority, and process, and provide oversight to questions by listening and zooming in on the details. Project governance components. The PMI provides 8 project governance components that you should know about as a project manager as they add value to the project. They're listed on this slide and we'll go through them now. Governance models. Based on the project scope, timeline, complexity, risk, stakeholders, and the importance to the organization should formulate a baseline of critical elements needed for project governance. There should be a primary tool that, based on some of the many indicators, decides what changes your governance framework needs to have and which components are compulsory. Accountability and responsibilities. Defining accountability and responsibilities is the core of the project manager's task. Improper distribution of accountabilities and responsibilities will have a negative impact on the effectiveness of operations of the organization. While defining both the factors, the project manager not only needs to define who is accountable, but also who's responsible, consulted, and notified for each of the project's deliverables. Stakeholder engagement. While laying down the foundation of your governance plan, it is compulsory to understand the project ecosystem completely. Identifying all of the stakeholders is the first step. If even one stakeholder is left out, it could disrupt the entire project and can have an adverse effect. You need to identify the stakeholders from a wide spectrum of sponsors, suppliers, the project team, government boards, business owners, and so on. The project manager has to define who the stakeholders are, what their interests and prospects are, and most important, how to communicate with them. Stakeholder communication. Once all the stakeholders have been recognized and their interests and expectations have been described, the project manager needs to develop a communication plan. A well-devised communication plan delivers concise, efficient, and well-timed information to all stakeholders. Meeting and reporting. Once the communication plan is appropriately defined, the project manager ensures that the balance of meetings and reporting is right. It is essential to define the communication plan to ensure that each stakeholder understands the mode and content of the communications, owner, receiver, communication milestones, and decision gates. In addition, communication needs to be brief, concise, and to the point. Risk and issue management. Due to uncertainties and unpredictability associated with projects or programs, there is loads of risks and issues. It is tough to predict what is going to happen, but it is necessary as a lack of preparation will put the project team much further behind. At the initiation of any project or program, there needs to be an agreement on how to identify, categorize, and prioritize the risks and issues. The tact of handling the risk or issue is more important than the issue itself. Assurance. Project assurance sees that risks and issues are managed efficiently and outlines the metrics that brings the delivery confidence of the project. One of the most essential components of assurance is creating the metrics that would give a view of the project performance. And last, project management control process. It sounds like the simplest component, but actually it's the most difficult to execute. The monitoring and controlling process controls tasks and metrics related to the project and measures. Also, this is not a single-time assessment. The manager needs to measure the performance regularly and take action on any deviations on time. So why is project governance essential to the success of a project? Well, establishing project governance is not as easy as it sounds. Considerable investment needs to be made while getting on with a new project. What's more challenging is to quantify what benefits are associated with it. So given on this slide are 4 key benefits of project governance: single point of accountability, issue management and resolution, information distribution and clear communication, outlines roles, relationships, and responsibilities among project stakeholders. Just know that the lack of proper foundation of project governance can derail even a well-devised project. While it's imperative to incorporate excellent technical insights and innovative ideas into a project, one cannot undermine the significance of good project management and governance. It helps you to put up questions and issues that were not even visible before its implementation. It is a multiple-in-one tool for project management, which gives a new dimension and a touch of distinct quality to an otherwise ordinary project. So if you like this video on what is governance, go ahead and smash the like button. And if you want to see more videos on project management topics, go ahead and subscribe to my channel because I upload them weekly. Thank you.